my people. How's it going? I'm Jenni.
KB here.
And today we are here to share with you our thoughts about the show.
Arcane.
And we're going to talk about the three main characters, or three of the main characters rather, and share with you all some people that we compare them to, or rather other characters that we think that they have some similarities to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, who are we gonna start with?
We're gonna go ahead and start with Caitlyn.
Caitlyn, your favorite.
My fave.
Yes. And who's the first one that we think, other character we think she's similar to?
Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. Why is that?
Well, I mean, let's look at the Outcast situation. When you watch Beauty and the Beast, the animated version, I think they do a live action one too, I can't remember. While Belle is doing everything, everyone else is just kind of like, what is she doing with herself?
Right.
That's just not right.
Yeah.
And how Caitlyn also considers herself to be an outcast.
Yeah.
And how the other enforcers are just kind of like, they pick on her and stuff and really don't want her around.
Yeah.
Just so they don't want Belle around.
Yeah, she's an outcast. She's also really smart.
Yes.
And, that's one of her defining traits.
Yeah.
So in Beauty and the Beast, Belle tends to read a lot.
Yeah.
She's off with her nose in a book.
Yep.
And Caitlyn tends to be doing all her detective enforcer work a lot. She's going through cases, and she has her whole floor covered up with all kinds of casework and studies. Yeah.
Whole floor.
Yeah. So they're both kind of outcasts. They're both very intelligent and kind of seen as dreamers with their heads in the clouds.
And adventurous.
That's true too.
Caitlyn doesn't want to have a cushy office job, right? And Belle doesn't want just to be cooped up with some man. She wants to be able to explore and stuff.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one we think she's is
Mulan.
Yes. And why is this?
Well, again, we're coming back to her intelligence.
True.
But there's a moment that's very Mulan-like.
Yeah.
And that, for me, was the moment where Caitlyn and Vi are at Vi's old house in the little Shimmer district of the lanes. And Silco shows up with all of his Shimmer goons. And it looks like Vi's getting ready to fight Silco head on, and all his guys, rather, she did when she was little. But she notices that Caitlyn's back there, and she is playing with the foundation of the building, or the structure. And Vi notices that and goes and helps her take down the structure. And that was super similar to that moment in the animated Mulan movie, where Mulan and her fellow soldiers are fighting the Hun army, and they only have one cannon thing left, the little dragon cannon thing, and instead of aiming it directly at her enemy, she goes ahead and aims it at the snowy mountain to create an avalanche.
Yep.
So that's super similar. They're both having that option of fighting the enemy head on. And Caitlyn also didn't have, just side note, she didn't even have her gun then.
No.
She didn't have much to fight with.
She didn't.
So she became really creative and used her surroundings in the fight. And that's very similar to Mulan. Also, that moment in Mulan where no one else could figure out how to climb up.
Yeah, I was thinking of that too. She kind of used the
pole.
two metal things and twisted them to climb up like this.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah, Caitlyn is very, what's the word? She's just very unique in the way she thinks. Out of the box thinker.
She is definitely a box thinker.
Yeah, and has a unique way of solving problems, just like Mulan tends to.
Yeah. And then we have, out of Disney, we have Ladybug from Miraculous Ladybug.
Yeah.
The Ladybug part, not necessarily the Marinette part.
Yeah, I don't think she's super like Marinette, but I think she has some similarities to Ladybug. First of all, they're similar in looks.
Yes.
Yeah, they both have
the dark blue hair.
The
very striking blue eyes.
Exactly. Yeah. What else do we think that they're similar?
Well, once again, it's back to strategically thinking.
Yeah.
Right? Unfortunately for Cat Noir, he lacks in that department when he comes up with a plan, so Ladybug usually jumps in.
Yeah.
She doesn't have like it's kind of like a superpower per se, but she uses her lucky charm, and then she gets something that's going to help defeat, the big baddie and stuff like that. But she has to think how to use it, It's just not just like a magic button that just makes everything work.
It's not like Sailor Moon who just holds up her wand and like magic happens. Yeah. And that's all she has to do pretty much.
And like when we see with Caitlyn, and we see when she's doing her like behind the scenes work and she's supposed to, and she's visualizing, those shots and everything. I kind of like reminiscent to, Ladybug's Lucky Charm, kind of how she visualizes things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah. So they're similar in looks, they're similar in the way that they defeat their opponents. Yeah.
They could have been similar too, because we only saw young Caitlyn like a few times, right? So there could have been some more similarities to the Marinette, but definitely Ladybug. And the next one is big for me from Ruby. It's going to be Blake.
Yeah.
And just once again, like just really intelligent, but also she's kind of she's kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Stoic. And Blake is to a certain point as well too. But she's actually a really strong fighter. And what's cool about Blake is while she does have like her melee, her actual weapons turn to guns too. So I don't know, like sniping range, but she definitely could like shots fired for sure.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And they also have like a really awesome partner. So who's also a brawler.
Nice.
Which is kind of interesting. I wonder if they actually took some inspiration from that. I mean, again, the dark hair, except this difference is that Blake's eyes are yellow and Caitlyn's are obviously blue. But they're, I definitely could see her being like when she's actually like doing her jumps and stuff like that, more cat-like than Pacoa.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we're going to move on to... Oh, wait. Actually, she's also like Batwoman.
Yeah.
And the reason why?
You tell.
You want me to tell?
Yeah.
Oh, well, because she has a lot of money and resources.
Yeah.
But she doesn't just, like, want that, like, luxury lifestyle. She wants to help, like, anybody. For instance, Batwoman wanted to help. It was in, like, help get affordable housing for people or help, like, the apartment districts and stuff like that. And for Caitlyn, she wants to help, like...
Caitlyn.
Or
Caitlyn.
Caitlyn. Well, sometimes we read fanfic and she's called Kate.
Yeah,
but Caitlyn... And she wants to obviously help the Undercity when she starts to see, like, really what's going down there, And she's like, we need to help them. Council's like, no.
Yeah.
And she's like, but we do, though.
Yeah. So she uses her resources to try and help.
Yeah.
Where she can.
Yeah, she does, which is great. And that's basically what Batwoman would do, too. And I could also kind of see her being a vigilante because she's no longer an enforcer and she is working, like,
And in the... game lore, she was a vigilante.
True!
Yeah.
And she factored in that one. Yeah, that's true, actually. There you go. And so was Batwoman.
Yes, true that. There was one other you had.
Nah.
You don't want to talk
it's
about
not.
that one?
I thought about it some more and it's just unnecessary.
Okay.
So now we're going to move on to your favorite.
Vai!
You're so bisexual.
Loving some Vai. Alright. So the first person that we have to compare Vi to is Captain
Marvel.
Because she says Marvel so awesomely. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, and you share about that one. You share.
Okay. Well, they're both hot-headed.
Yeah.
And they both kind of just don't care to ask questions. They both just want to go head on. And they're both like really into just their powers, so to speak. Obviously with Captain Marvel, she just wants to use her powers and everything like that. And Vi's wants to use her fists.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're both really tough ladies.
That's true.
And they both have really kind of similar personalities. I mean, we have yet to see... We've seen the sarcasm.
Yeah.
Both of them are very sarcastic.
True. That's true.
So,
So are you.
Yeah, that's very true. Am I though?
Yes. Oh, am I though? Really? Yes. The next one is one that I said, and you didn't super agree with it, but we put it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So I said that Vi has some similarities to Catwoman from Batman. Yeah. And the main similarities she has are, number one, that she's a thief.
She is a thief.
Number two, she climbs around on rooftops. Which I guess is a pretty thief-like trait.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah. I think that's about it.
Well, so, yes, she's a thief. Yes, she climbs on rooftops. But Selena Kyle is very, like, incognito, right? She's very... when she breaks open something, she breaks it very carefully, and she slides down to get the gem.
That's true.
Can you honestly see Vi attached to some mechanism going down very gently to steal something? No. And also the thing about Catwoman is she's just like, she's there and she's gone.
That's true.
Vi's not.
No.
Vi's still like beating the hell out of someone.
That's true.
But I can definitely
So
agree
there's
she's a
some
thief, and she
differences.
definitely does the rooftop thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and in that way, I think,
sass.
yeah, you could compare, like, Caitlyn and Vi's relationship to I would say Batman and Catwoman, right? You could kind of, some of the dynamics.
Some of it.
Vaguely.
If Vi was just brooding all the
similar.
time. And taller than Caitlyn.
Yeah, that's true.
I can see some similarities to that one.
Yeah.
And then you also picked the next one.
Oh, yeah, Cat Noir. Or Chat Noir.
Cat Noir.
Yeah. So from Miraculous Ladybug also. And one of the main reasons why I think that they're similar is because they have the same kind of, like, personality. He's pretty funny. He's pretty, like, sarcastic. He's kind of...
He's got puns, which I guess he
he has puns, which Vi doesn't really have.
She
puns.
might. We never know.
But I feel like she's kind of... Like, her sense of humor brings a little bit of lightness to things, just like his does.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty good sidekick.
Yeah.
And I think there's that video, the cinematic from...
Oh, from the game?
From the game.
Oh,
where
it's
you
so
see,
cool.
like, Vi tossing the gun over to Caitlyn, and Caitlyn aiming to shoot. And that's something that I could see Cat Noir doing, because he's, like, really good backup.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then he also runs around all over the rooftops and does all kinds of parkour stuff. But they are... It's a French show.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why it has a lot of similarities.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, because Fortiche is a French company.
That's true.
And they animated Arcane, so...
They certainly did. They still will be.
I think that that's one of the main reasons that there are some similarities there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you also picked the next one.
Yeah. Oh, Jack Frost from Rise of the Guardians.
Yes, such
He's
a wonderful
another
movie.
parkour dude. He, like, jumps all over the rooftops and floats all around. He has a killer sense of sarcasm.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the way he
humor.
talks, his humor is very similar to Vi's. His personality in general, very similar to Vi's. He has, like, the little flop doodle hair.
Yeah, they both have that spiky hair thing going on.
Yeah, a little anime hair with some texture to it.
But the thing when you mentioned, I was laughing because we know how in the Rise of the Guardians, he doesn't want to be a Guardian. Very similar to how when it does happen, Caitlyn's gonna have Vi become an enforcer.
Yeah.
She's not gonna want to become an enforcer. She's gonna wear that weird outfit. Come on now.
Right.
She's just gonna be like, nope.
Yeah, there's some resistance to different parts of doing that.
Yeah.
But I feel like that show in general, like, if I were to recommend a show to someone who, like, visually really enjoyed Arcane, or that movie.
Yeah, it's such a good movie.
Yeah.
It's very underrated.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
It really is.
Yeah. And then the next one, the next two are all you.
It's all me.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next one is Lightning from Final Fantasy 13. The reason I picked Lightning is first I showed you what she looks like. She's a badass soldier lady.
Yeah.
You know, she's also got that same kind of sarcastic personality and everything like that. But it's the relationship. She will do whatever it takes to save her sister. Her sister and her are super duper close. And I'm not gonna say any spoilers, but something happens and she wants to do everything she can to save her. Kind of like how Vi's like, hey, listen, I have to go back to Jinx, get Jinx no matter what before that scene happens on the bridge. You know, because she's like, I have to try, right?
Yeah.
But also, once again, they're both badass ladies.
Yeah.
Like, I love Final Fantasy 13, and I think Lightning is just really good. And I'm wondering, too, because, like, I'm trying to think of another, like, a show or anything like that where there's, like, a close sister bond like that, and I can't think of it. So I wonder if they did get some inspiration for that. Because Lightning and Sarah are really close.
Okay.
So just kind of, like, you know, it's really nice. And yeah, that's also why. But the next one is no surprise. We already talked about Blake from RWBY, and she's definitely got like aspects of Yang for sure. Of course, she's a brawler. She's hot-headed. She's sarcastic. Yang does puns. I would love to see Vi do a pun.
Yeah.
I don't know if she would do a pun.
I don't know.
But
I think she more has like a dry sense of humor.
Yeah. Well, so can Yang too, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And also they've got really like supportive partners that can like back them up in a situation, for sure. But also, actually too, Yang has a connection with RWBY, another sister connection too, and she'd do anything for her sister. Yang would for RWBY. So yay, more of that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the next one we're gonna talk about is actually two, Jinx and Powder. We're gonna do Jinx first, and you actually came up with this one.
Yeah. So the first one is the Joker, and the moment that I realized that Jinx had a lot of Joker qualities was at the tea party. When you see her, like, I think that you like hear her laugh before you see her, or something, like you hear her voice for sure.
You hear her voice
before you see her, and for me, like, something hit me, like, oh my gosh, this is just so Joker-like. And a lot of people compare her to Harley Quinn, which I saw first. I was like, oh yeah, there's some Harley Quinn.
The theatrics.
But then when that moment came through, I was like, wait, I'm getting some straight Joker vibes coming through here. Yeah, and I think that it's because the reason that she's more like the Joker is because she like thinks things through more. Like, Harley Quinn is very in the moment. She's kind of all over the place in the moment, just, like, being wild and free and fun. Whereas the Joker, he will plan things out. He has, like, a little bit more secrecy. He plots things out a little more. Yeah. And I think that that's a lot more, like, Jinx, who put together this whole tea party.
Yeah, and the thing too is that when we finally see, we obviously know she knocked out both Caitlyn and she knocked out both Vi, but when we see Vi is tied up to a chair in the darkness, and you do hear Jinx. That's something the Joker would do, to kind of like, where the hell is this individual, you know?
Yeah.
And another thing too, very Joker-esque, as you had mentioned this before, was when Caitlyn has the mask on, it has like that smile thing.
The smile, and that's a Joker.
And then of course there's the other part too, where there's, his name isn't Chuck, he'll forever be known as Chuck. When Jinx puts that little, like, explosion on him and it, like, spits out paint. Yeah. Because Joker likes to play with his prey enemies, whatever you want to call them. Yeah. Well, Harley Quinn is much more, and the Joker can be theatrical too, but Harley Quinn is much more big explosions and big hammer and kaboom, you know? Yeah. And the Joker is more like, hey, here's these mechanical teeth that are gonna, like, rip your whatever, you know? Which is very much similar to, like, you know, what Jinx creates. She's very much a tinkerer, so is he to a certain extent. And I'm not to know too much about the Joker, but I definitely, when you said the Joker, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he's so calculated. And when we see the big reveal of the cupcake, which to this day I still don't know how she knew about that, you see her smiling before she reveals it. Like, you see that grin, and I was like, oh, that's so creepy. Yeah. Joker would do stuff like that. He plays mind games with you, you know.
She's definitely one for mind games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You see it, like, when she's with Savika and she pretends she's about to cry, and then she sneezes and just, like, goes on about her business.
And then she ties Savika up and she, like, liar, and she writes all those stuff over, which is what the Joker would do. He'd, like, write, like, ha, 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 and stuff like that, and the Joker smile. So very, very much Joker. As vibes. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually said they got some Joker inspiration. Yeah. Because Jinx has got a lot of different things going on.
I think the voice actor might have said she did.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That would make sense.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she's also like Harley Quinn, as we already had mentioned, because, you know.
Yeah, she's like a really...
Her outfit.
Outlandish... cutie.
Yeah, like her outfit, like some of her personality, because she's got the fun. She's like a mixture between Joker and Harley Quinn, because she's got the craziness of the planning and stuff like that, and then she's got the theatrics, which is a very dangerous combination. And one I actually picked was Mad Hatter when we saw the tea party. I couldn't help but think when we saw the Clagga doll, the Milo doll, we had Caitlyn, we had Vi, we had Silco, and I'm just like, it's like she's gonna pour some tea, you know? Yeah. It's like very much like a tea party-esque mindset for me for the Mad Hatter. And she's also mad.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah.
But it was mostly because all these things were around the table. I'm just like, that's like the Mad Hatter, dude.
Yeah, that's true. And that very, like, childlike quality.
I could see her busting out some rhymes if she wanted to. And then you had an interesting one as well for both the Jinx and the Powder side.
Yeah, so the one I came up with was Sailor Chibi Moon, And one of the main reasons being because of the pigtails that she has when she is Jinx. But when she's younger, she's also a little bit of a troublemaker. Just like, maybe not as on purpose.
No.
As Chibi Moon is. Chibi Moon kind of like disregards Sailor Moon. But in terms of like, she doesn't really listen to the instructions she's given.
Nope.
She's a very willful
She's
young child with bright, fun hair, you know. Yeah. So.
And she puts on that like puppy eyes or whatever, and people are like, oh, she's just such a sweet little innocent girl. Usagi's like, are you serious right now?
Yeah, she's a little more intentional about it.
Yeah. Well, Powder just, does her best.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's...
Oh, and another thing, too, for Powder is I kind of compared once again back to sister relationship with Sarah from Final Fantasy 13 when she was younger, because she has that bond. She still has attachment to her sister when she's older, but now I don't know what's going to happen in Season 2. We just don't know.
We don't know.
We just don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what we have for you all today. Super fun taking a deeper dive into these characters and finding some other similar characters. Yay!
Woo!
Hope you've enjoyed it. And if you would like to see more similar content, please subscribe. Yes. Sending you all so much love. Until next time.
Later.